All right, good to see you guys. Man, we were just riding over. It's going pretty fast. Just thinking about last year doing these weekly press conferences and time flies, man. It's a great reminder to enjoy this opportunity for all of us, man. I'm gonna open up with really I'm pleased with the way fall camp went. There was three things as a head coach I really wanted to get out of fall camp. One is I wanted to build the depth of our team. I told you guys a couple of weeks ago, there's a lot of guys that we're going to count on that do not have game experience. And so I'm pleased at the depth at certain positions that we were able to really get valuable reps in camp. We really forced the coaches to play some of those what we would call twos in one situations and let's see those guys develop and see what they can do when they're playing against some of the best. The second thing was I wanted to really get us physically ready to play a game, but also keep us healthy. I mean, it's something that I looked at the injuries from last year in fall camp, and I said, we got to find a better way to do this. And so I think we were down over half of the concussions. And I know we decreased in every soft tissue ligament injury in all facets of in any body part. So we really decreased the injuries. And I know the weather helped, but I think we were 79% down in dehydrations for fall camp. So that was really our team did a great job. Just the sports performance team, the medical trainers, our coaches really did a great job at keeping the guys healthy and making sure we have everybody we need as we get ready to go to Dublin, Ireland. And the last thing we really wanted to do is really increase our leadership. I believe that's what will be our edge is our leadership. And we have a lot of leaders, right? We have a lot of guys that are in leadership positions, but I think the team did a great job. Our coaching staff did a great job of really promoting leadership, helping to build leadership, putting them in positions to, all of our seniors spoke to the team at some point about some of the lessons they've learned over their time here and really try to just create an environment of leadership to really promote that amongst our program. And with that being said, I haven't been here since we announced the captains, but I'm really pleased that the four captains we announced and the team chose were Joe Alt, J.D. Bertrand, Cam Hart, and Sam Hartman. It was a unique – it's only my second time collecting votes for captains, but we had 10 guys get double-digit votes. Those four by far ran with with the most votes, but ran away with the most votes. But it's encouraging to see 10 guys getting double-digit votes. It means that, we have more than just, four guys and that are viewed in that captain's eye in terms of the other guys on our team. The schedule kind of for this week is we'll go today. Usually Mondays we are more of a walkthrough practice, but being the first week, we will go today as like a Tuesday practice. Tomorrow will really be a Thursday practice in our minds in terms of how long we'll be out there. And then Wednesday will be a normal Wednesday practice. And the thought is to truly get after them Wednesday. I want them pretty tired as we get on this flight Wednesday night to fly over to Dublin. We'll land in Dublin Thursday morning, kind of go to the hotel, get unpacked and keep our guys up. We're going to keep them up. Really do some walkthroughs and stuff at the hotel. Then we'll go and we'll practice Thursday. And then Friday will be a little bit more intense than Thursday. Thursday, it'll be pretty jet lagged. And so we have to be smart in terms of our structure once we get there. But I feel really good about the plan. We talked to a lot of different organizations that have kind of done similar trips, and we felt like this was the best one. I'm looking forward to getting a chance to meet Coach Newberry. He's done a heck of a job as a defensive coordinator for Navy. Really respect what he's done. They've been really good on defense, and now as his transition to being a head coach, I'm sure they will take after the head coach, right? I'm expecting to see a very aggressive, talented football team that plays extremely hard. They've shown that on film, and we're looking forward to the challenge. Obviously, they have a new offensive coordinator, so that presents another challenge in itself. So looking forward for that opportunity and truly grateful for the opportunity to play in the 2023 Aer Lingus College Football Classic at Aviva Stadium in Dublin. It's a series that goes back to 1927. And we're grateful for this rivalry, for the opportunity to play them. It's the 96th time we're playing Navy, and so the third time in Ireland. So what a great experience and great opportunity for our program. And so lastly, I wanted to give a quick shout out to our O-lineman, Brennan Wicks. Brennan is in the Navy ROTC here and spoke to the team last week in part of his senior speech, but really talked about how once he graduates here, he'll go and he'll serve. And so this is a special week for him, obviously being a part of the Navy ROTC here, but wanted to give him a special shout out for what he does for our program. And injury updates, Kevin Bauman and Aiden both had successful surgery. Aiden Gobira both had successful ACL surgery, both recovering well, just starting their rehab towards, getting back. And then Michael Carmody had hand surgery. He fell in practice last week and ended up breaking a bone in his hand. So he had hand surgery last week, but he'll make the trip over to Ireland with us. So with that, I'll kind of open it up for questions.
We'll start with Tyler James, second row on the left.
Marcus, to continue the injury questions, we know Zeke missed some time last year, week with the ankle injury. What are the hurdles he needs to clear this week to play on Saturday?
He's been progressing really well. He'll practice today, and we expect him to be able to go. He's progressing really well. I want to see him go out there and practice today. We kind of held him out last week, but today we're going to push him to go, and he's been doing a great job in rehab and recovery. So I think today will tell us a lot.
And as for the guys that'll be lining up next to him, Pat Coogan and Rocco Spindler, can you sort of talk about what you saw from those guys throughout camp that allowed them to assert themselves as starters in the guard spots?
Yeah, our guard battles was really, really good. The competition amongst those guys was what you want to see. I think Rocco and Pat both just, the confidence they build in their coaching staff, the trust of them being able to do their job on a consistent basis was why they'll be in there to start the game. And so I feel really good about the depth of our guard position. Billy had a great spring. A great fall camp. So, but those two guys, man, have had a really good fall camp in terms of just the execution. All of them are physical. All of them have the traits that you look for in offensive guards, but the overall execution of what they were asked to do on a consistent basis is why those guys will be starting for us.
Down in front on your right, John Bryce.
Hey, Marcus, you referenced a number of metrics there in terms of preseason camp and the ways that you guys are healthier or fresher based off of last year. Was that off of studies that you did? Was that off of feel that you had after you went through last year's camp? Just what all did that entail for you to get to this point?
Yeah, it's a part of everything. I get up here often and say challenge everything, right? And it's a part of growth. It's part of going the experience of last year and saying, okay, how can we get better in terms of how do we make sure this group of guys are ready to play this first game? That's what it's about, is getting this group ready to perform at its highest level for the first game. And so it was meeting with a group of individuals, our sports performance team, really kind of researching other ways of doing it. And, coming up with an original plan that we tinkered with throughout the fall camp. There was times I would say, okay, hey, maybe we have to cut a period, or hey, we could keep going here and really look at the numbers after each practice and say, okay, next practice, this is probably where we need to adjust. And so there's not just one clear blueprint of this is how you're going to do it and just stick to it. For me, it was like, okay, how do you evaluate? You have a plan going in, and how do you adapt and adjust based off what the results kind of showed you? And so it's no different than coaching football. You have a plan going in, and you have to be able to adapt and adjust. Adaptability is so important. So that's kind of what happened. Yeah, we created a new plan based off last year's evidence, based off researching with other people and other ideas. But the ability to really be adaptable post-practice was extremely important.
And then Devin Ford mentioned the other day that it's by far the freshest he's ever felt coming out of a camp. I wonder what kind of feedback you've maybe had from Ford or Sam Hartman or any of the other guys that have been at other programs, and then players also within this program.
Yeah. It's good to hear that some of your players feel fresh. I don't want to base my decisions off of what they're always saying. If they're hurting, great. That's a part of the growth. We need to be prepared. But, the feedback's been good. And maybe is not so much with me as they're spending more time with their position coaches and the trainers than they are with me. And so I'm able to hear different things from coaches, from trainers that, hey, you know, guys are feeling good, but it's more so what you see. Like there's going to be practices where I don't expect them to be feeling great, right? And it's intentional, but there's also saying, okay, if we were looking at those night practices being games, I want to make sure that the build up to those night practices, when we turn on those film of the night practices that we had in fall camp, I want to see guys truly practicing at their highest speeds and their highest levels. So it's great to hear those things, but I have to make sure that I have a plan and it's adaptable to maybe what the science says or what my gut feeling is.
All the way in the back on your left now.
Hey, coach, back here. Taking a look at the triple option offense. We see it a little bit out of high schools in
I
this
saw
area.
you on TV the other day. We're
yeah.
It's kind of cool to see you guys. Like we had Vinny played Friday
For Culver Academy, right?
No, he plays at Penn now. So they
okay.
played Valparaiso and we went home and I felt like a parent. I turned on Friday night football and I saw you on TV. It's kind of cool to see you out of here. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry
Awesome.
about that.
No, all good. So
Yeah.
we see the triple option out of high schools, but especially with Division I caliber athletes, what makes that offense so difficult to defend?
Well, you don't see it often, right? You don't see triple option offenses often in college football, and you have to be so disciplined. Our guys defensively are used to being able to, do your job, but finding a way to get to the ball, finding a way to make a play happen at times, right? And when you play triple option, you might not ever make a tackle with a guy on the ball, but if you have to do your job and it's something that is very extremely difficult. Now, you're going against a coordinator that there's a couple, like we got to watch Kennesaw State. That's not what Navy did last year. And so we have to prepare for a lot of different things that we might see. And so it will be a challenge. We have a great plan. I love the plan that Coach Golden has come up with and we're doing defensively, but its ability to recognize, okay, what is this offense trying to do? And then jump into that game plan.
Looking at their offense and knowing that the goal of the triple option is to take up time of possession, does your offense have to do anything different to prepare for perhaps a lack of possession from what you're used to?
Yeah, we got to be efficient, right? We cannot go 3 and out, right? We got to take care of the ball. And, if all of a sudden we go 3 and out, as you look at last year's second half, there was the first couple of drives were 3 and out and we had interception. Listen, Navy had the ball for the time of possession last year in the second half was tremendous and an advantage to them. And so we have to be efficient on offense. We cannot have negative yardage plays and we cannot go 3 and out.
Front row, far right, Eric Hansen.
Hey, Coach. I know you didn't see me on.
No,
TV.
I didn't see you on
Okay.
TV.
Just keep waiting. I know that your history with Jared Parker goes way back, but not in an offensive coordinator position. So where have you seen his growth since February when he became the offensive coordinator to now? And then how do you get a feel for him as a play caller?
Yeah, we've had a lot of those situations in fall camp where it's unscripted, right? And when you have a play caller that's called plays for many years, a lot of times you script those things out. But, it was something that me and Jared talked about in length about making sure, hey, coach, let me have some unscripted period so I can get used to continuing calling plays. We even did it in walkthroughs, right? We would go walkthroughs and call it. Don't script it out, call it. And so I think that helps him with, what it's like to really continuously call plays. I've been really pleased with the growth of him as a leader, with him as a leader of a staff, him as a leader of the offense. He's done a tremendous job. His players truly buy into who he is as a leader. That's to me a reflection of a great leader. When your players start to speak the same language, when your players are acting very similar to the leadership in that offensive room or defensive room, it's a reflection of leadership. So I'm really pleased with what he's done.
The other thing I wanted to ask you was about you seem very detailed in this plan of how to maximize and mitigate maximize your efforts and mitigate the jet lag and the time difference going over. The 2012 team had a lot of trouble coming back the other way. So I wondered what kind of plan is in place to mitigate that coming back this way.
Yeah, Hopefully, so we're staying. I don't know if the 2012 team stayed the night. They didn't stay the night, so they came back right after the game. Whereas we're going to stay the night, get up early in the morning, and fly back. So I've always been told coming west, like you should be better because you're gaining hours. So I'm less concerned with the trip back, but still, everything's been planned out to the minute. What time we're leaving, when we're getting back, what are we doing when we get back? All those things have been planned out to the minute. And then you got to think about the next week of practice, right? And understand there still is going to be some fatigue when you travel from a different country back to here in Indiana. So that has been taken into consideration in terms of the practice schedules for the following week. How do we make sure that we're able to get out what we need, but take into consideration it's going to be a full week of school. We played in a different country the previous Saturday, and we have to be ready to perform. Again, it all goes back. Let's look at the end result. We have to be ready to perform Saturday at 2:30. I don't know if it's 2:30 or 3:30, whatever time we play here. Okay, now how do we make sure we have a plan that our guys feel physically ready to perform that next Saturday?
Third row on your left, so please start.
Marcus, from our side of the fence, the media, I think we looked at the defensive line going into camp and come out of this thinking, wow, maybe that's deeper and better than we thought, or I thought. Not asking if you were surprised by it, but just your thoughts on the development and evolution of your interior defensive line in particular.
Yeah, I think I am a little. I would be lying if I wouldn't say that I was a little bit surprised. I mean, you got some guys that have not shown in the game, right? The Jason Anyes, the Junior Tuihalamakas, the Josh Burnhams, the Gabe Rubios, those guys that really haven't played much defense in game situations that we're going to be able to count on. We're going to use those guys. We know what Javonte played at Ohio State. We know what Riley and Howard and some of those guys can do. Jordan Botello's had a really good camp. And so I think Coach Wash has done a great – that's been a room where at times you pull out Howard Cross and Riley Mills and say, get Anya in there with the ones, get Rubio in there with the ones. Let's see what they can do against really good players. You know, our edges go against Joe Alton, Blake Fisher every day. That's going to make you better, or it's going to expose you, one or the other. And so Coach Wash has done a great job of rotating those guys, finding roles for those guys, and really developing the depth of that room.
You're speaking of good rooms. The running back room is stuffed with talent. And again, speaking of surprises, I don't think we anticipated that Jabron Payne would be listed number 2 on the depth chart. What has he done to put himself in that position?
Just consistency. You know, I talk to every couple of days, we talk about grades from practice, right? We grade practice and we talk about who can you trust, who's dependable. And that's to me where Jabron has truly elevated himself in terms of that running back room. It has nothing to do with talent matters. He wouldn't be here if he wasn't talented, but there might be some guys that you might say, hey, he might be a tad bit more talented than him. But we want to play guys that we trust and are dependable. And that's what Jabron has shown in protection and taking care of the football and doing his job. He's been really – I think he's great at hiring than anybody in that room. But we'll need them all. We'll need Jadarian Price. We'll need Devin Ford. We're going to need Jeremiah Love. All those guys, to me, will help us.
Front row on your right, Pete Sampson.
Marcus, I was curious about how you got to a point with sort of managing reps and intensity of practice. Like, we're going to pull back now, do less now so we can get more later, like the freshness. Because I think in some ways for a coach that might feel counterintuitive. Like, we're going to do fewer reps or fewer periods. Like, how did you sort of get to a point mentally where you're like, okay, I get it. This is really the way we should lean, even if this is not how it was when I played at Ohio State.
Mm-hmm. It's being able to say sometimes you don't know, right? If there's a better way to do it and somebody can explain it to me in a way that makes sense and I understand and I agree with it, let's do it. Like, it's a part of growth. And sometimes I think that's what prevents people from growing. Like, head coaches need coaches too, right? I need to be able to grow. I don't have every answer. So the ability for somebody to present something to me and say, hey, coach, from my expertise, this is what I think will help you perform, because that's what I want. I want high performance on game days. And I think John Waggle and some of that team, that sports performance team, were able to present to me like, if this is what you're looking for on Saturdays, here's different ways to get to that point. And so I was able to adapt and adjust myself as a leader and not just say, well, no, this is the way I want to do things. And I just want to do what's best for the players. That's at the end of the day, that's what matters.
Kind of a micro question on the defense. Jalen Sneed, like there's great experience depth in front of him. It could be hard to get reps, but you probably gonna find a spot for him. Like what do you see like a good season for him this year? And it doesn't necessarily need to be just at linebacker.
Yeah, he's going to help us in a lot of different ways. He is a talented football player, and we will find ways. We will find ways to get him on the field because he makes us better when he's on the field. And so, we're going to need all those guys in the linebacker room. And what we do with Jalen, where we play him, it depends on each week. But Jalen Sneed's going to play for us because he makes us a better team when he's out there.
Third row, far left, Burn.
Hey, Marcus, when you get back from Ireland, I'd like to encourage you to sample all the high school shows in town because they're really excellent.
I saw you too. I saw you too. I did. I was going back and forth.
looking for the pen highlights, right? Yeah, we'll be there.
Yeah.
As you think about playing the first game of a season, what are the unknowns that kind of maybe cause you concern, or at least that you're aware of as you get ready for this?
You know, it's tough because you can never measure your team until you face an opponent, right? And you often think about, okay, are we doing what it takes to make sure this team is ready when we face an opponent? But the true test comes on Saturday. But with that being said, I'm going to go back to our focus has to be on today. And so we got a team meeting at 1:45, and the only thing I'm going to talk to them about is winning today. Like we'll get to Dublin, Ireland. We'll get to the Navy game. Our only objective is to win today. And I know that's coaches speak. I know coaches say it all the time, but it's true. Like if I sit here daydreaming I can use Saturday maybe to think about how to plan today. But if we don't win today, then guess what? Saturday's not going to be the result we want. So our focus has to be to win today. But Saturday we'll get to measure what team we have.
When you think about playing Navy to start the year, I know a lot of times in years past, we hear how difficult it is to prepare for them mid-season because what they do is so different. Do you think that there are advantages to opening a year with them?
100%. We've been able to prepare from spring ball to parts of the summer to parts of fall camp, and then obviously 2 weeks to prepare for Navy, just strictly Navy. And it's a tremendous advantage to play Navy the first game of the year because the preparation that entails getting ready for them is obviously lengthened.
Second row, middle.
Sadar, just for everybody listening. Coach, you talked about leadership and confidence, and that's something that you saw in this group in fall practice. What about Sam Hartman? What did you see from him that gives you confidence heading into this first game of the season?
6 years of going into a 6 year of experience, right? I didn't mention this earlier, but Sam Hartman, this was his fourth time being named a captain, right? So 3 times at Wake Forest and then 1 time here. There's no substitution for experience. None. I don't care if you're the head coach or the quarterback. And so that's what gives me confidence in Sam Hartman. There's nothing that's going to be able to make him too high or too low. He's thrown interceptions. He's made bad decisions. He's made great plays and long touchdown throws. He knows what to expect. And that's, to me, the number one thing he brings. But he also makes those guys around him better. He's starting to challenge other positions. He challenges his offensive line in his own way. He's raising the play of the people around him. And so that gives me confidence that this ain't his first rodeo. He's been in the fire multiple times.
And along with that, what are you seeing with his wide receivers, the chemistry? How is he coming along with that group?
It's tremendous, right? From where they were in the spring till now, it was a bumpy road. It continues to be a bumpy road, but it's gotten much better. The trust is built over time. Right? Trust is built over time, and they'll trust each other a lot more at the end of the season than they do now. But where we've come from, it's been great to see.
Also second row in the middle, Chuck Freeman.
If we're doing plugs, we'll bring the game prize. What's the value Chase Ketterer
Oh.
in the past few weeks as he prepares the scout team?
Yeah, usually on Sundays, I let the coaches vote for Scout Team Player of the Week. I'll tell you guys right now, he'll be the Scout Team Player of the Week for sure. You know, Chase not only knows how to run the offense because he played it in high school, but Chase has a little bit of leadership abilities to him too. He's a good athlete. He kind of challenges the players, but also I'm with the scout team right now, right? And he's a couple times, I think he should pull it, and he gave it, and I said, no, I don't. I want you to pull it. He said, well, coach, the end gave me a give read. Okay, well, I'm telling you to pull it, you know. So, but I mean, the look he's been able to give us is invaluable, and he's been a huge part, and this week will be huge too, but he's been a huge part in development of our defense, but also the offense. Like he takes them out there and they work timing, they work all the different motions and the things that we need to demonstrate that the Navy offense does. So really grateful to have him this week in our program.
And then finally, we've talked a lot about the Navy offense, but their defense last year was number 2 against the run and really stymied your rushing attack most of the game. What concerns you about what they've got coming back, and how much does Sam change the game plan that you were able to use last year against them?
Yeah, really good defense, right? And I'm a coach that always comes up here and says, we got to be able to run the ball, because that opens up things in the pass game. At times you can't run the ball, right, versus them because they have more people than you can block. And so we have to be able to utilize different formations and utilize our pass game at times to open up the run, hopefully. And so very challenging defense. And you guys might not see it, but we almost look at their defense like we look at their offense. It's something you won't see every week. You don't see this type of defense often in college football. And so it presents a big challenge that we've been preparing for months. What Sam does, I think, presents a level of maturity that he'll know the game plan, he'll know the things he's looking for, but the moment won't be too big for him. You know, he's played in a lot of big games, and so I believe that he'll put our offense in the right position to be successful.
And our last question will be third row on the right, Matt Fortuna.
Hi, Marcus.
How you doing?
Good, how are you? We've heard you in various interviews throughout the offseason. I don't want to say take a step back, but say, we're not going to talk about winning a championship. We're going to talk about winning today, like you said earlier. How has that message changed or evolved internally with the players, the way it has kind of publicly with us?
Yeah, we don't talk about national championship. Jack Swarbrick came in and said, hey, he's talking to our team, and he's just unbelievable, an unbelievable speaker, and he talked about what he saw in national championship teams, and when he got done, I reminded the guys that that's a result of a lot of different things. Is that Saturday, if you look at, we're talking about national championship football team, it's easy to say, okay, don't talk about that, talk about today. But even talk about Saturday, like, don't worry about Saturday. Focus on today. And I think our players understand, because you are in a competition today versus your opponent. Like, we're both practicing today. So who's going to win today? And that's got to be your mindset. Stop worrying about Saturday. Saturday is a result of what you do today. And so it's a constant message preached to the team. We say one day, one life. And I'm going to say win today. But it's that focus of stop. You can't control Saturday. You can control right now and what's right in front of you. You can't control what happened on Friday at practice. You can control right now. And that's what I want their focus on. And then as you get into the game Saturday, don't worry about 4 quarters of football and we got to finish well, we got to start. Focus on that first play. Guess what? After the first play, get ready for the second play. And so if you really think like that, the results will take care of itself. And I know it's coaches talking. It's the result. You win or lose a game is what you're really evaluated on. I get that, but that's the result of a lot of different things. So we got to focus on the things we control, and that's today, and that's the first play of Saturday, and just winning the moment, right? Win today and win these small moments, and we'll figure out the rest later.
When was that speech from Jack Swarbrick?
Sometime during fall camp, we had him come talk to the team, and he actually talked to the coaching staff at a retreat, and he just is so intelligent. He speaks so well. I remember right after he got done, I said, I need you to say those same things to our team. Coming from you, it's different. And he spoke to the team a couple weeks ago, but just an unbelievable job at saying, hey, I've been around I think 11 national championship teams since he's been here. I think 11 or 12, and the most of any athletic director in Notre Dame history. Here's some of the things I've seen national championship teams possess. And he kind of talked to our team about that. And so as I told our team, like, the focus on what they possess, don't focus on the national championship, right? That's the result of things. What are the things they did daily that would help result in a national championship? Thanks.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, guys, thank you.